Hi, I'm Paul Scalabroni, volunteer here at Battleship Cove, and today we're back in our primary print lab. We did a video on this probably a year and a half ago, or maybe even longer, when we first started to put equipment in here, and we're doing an update on the projects we're doing and also some new equipment we've added to the lab. If you want to actually go behind me, one of the bigger pieces we've added is Tom got a laser. We were trying to make some engraving on some of the plaques all around the ship and equipment boxes that needed it. And we had our small little laser, the diode one, but it wasn't doing the job for what we needed to do. It couldn't do some materials. It can't do clear polycarbonate. So we needed a bigger CO2 laser. So we got this guy, which is an 80-watt CO2 laser. It's got a fairly large pass-through bed. It's actually configured right now because we're doing plaques for the another ship, and Tom's doing a couple cribbage boards for people that know what cribbage is. And it's a very powerful laser, and we can do bigger materials. A couple things that we're doing on actual battleship teak. We're making some stuff we're going to start selling in the gift shop, keepsakes, things like that. So we'll have it actually generating us some revenue and also helping with the restoration efforts all over the ship. And it's a good addition to have. This one was actually funded completely by Tom. The ship, we didn't get a grant for this, or the ship paid for it. So another example where the volunteers are putting their heart and soul into the ships and getting these things restored and getting projects going. So a few of the pieces of equipment we added was in the 3D printers. We have a couple new ones and more actually downstairs, which we'll get into. But we were able to get a raised 3D printer, which is an extremely nice, accurate, dual filament printer. Enclosed volume, it's heated. We can do two materials with it. And this one's allowed us to do a lot of repetitive parts that we don't have to worry about. And things where we can do, like, because it's a dual extruder, we can do filament, and we can also do support material that's water soluble. So we can print something, chuck it in water, the support material dissolves away, and then we have just the part. We don't have to spend hours cleaning it up. It's just the way it needs to be. And then the Gigabot we still have. That was in our first video. We're currently rebuilding it. It's gone through a whole bunch of iterations, but this isn't our biggest printer anymore, which we'll get to that in a few minutes. We got the two FT6s, which again we're redesigning right now, but these are good workhorses for extremely large format printing where we don't need super detail because they're not like a bamboo printer is. They're not going to give you like complete millimeter detail, but these things are good for large prints, which we're starting to do because we're replicating a lot of the ship's armaments in the 50 caliber guns, the 40 millimeter and the 20 millimeter guns. We're starting to add those back on deck as 3D printed objects. So having these to be able to print those parts where they don't have to be super detailed, these guys are going to be the workhorses for that, as well as the printer we're going to see downstairs in a few minutes. And with the upgraded equipment, the benefit of is one of the projects we did was the globes we were doing for our lights, because we're missing a lot. This is an original glass one, and then these are kind of the iterations we went through where we started with, I think this was just kind of an opaque plastic, then we went to white plastic. We tried clear polycarbonate plastic, which was a good result, but you can see the inner striations and basically the structure of the object. This is what we were using on the light fixtures, and when the light shined through it, you saw the structure. So it kind of, unless you knew what you were looking for, most people wouldn't know it's a 3D printed globe, but if you know what you're looking for, you see it, you're going to know it's a 3D printed part instantly, which is why with the second lab we have now, we're able to do parts like this, which are made out of resin. So there is no print lines, it's optically clear, and it's a much higher quality print. So we're going to go down to the second print lab where we keep most of that equipment, and we'll show you all of that now. All right, so we're here in our second print lab. We call it Print Lab 2 creatively. But I'm here with Greg, who's another volunteer here. He's actually kind of been spearheading this lab up. And between us is our newest addition, the Orange Storm Giga, which is way bigger than the printers we have upstairs. So that's why we had to put it in its own separate room. And we've been using this to print a lot of the amplifier boxes that we've been doing with our new project, which Greg actually has one over there he can explain.
Yep, so this is one of our first things that we printed. This is an amp box, has speaker components that are put in it all around the ship. They're running short of them, so we took and printed this box, as you can see here. It's got holes where you can bolt it to the bulkheads, and this is the front of the speaker, which I can print all in one piece. So it comes in 2 separate pieces, and then it basically sits on like this. Once it's done, just need to do some sanding, paint it, and it's all ready to go.
And it's designed off the original specs, so we'll actually be putting electronics back in those, so they'll still actually function on the ship as the ship's entertainment amplifiers. And with this printer, we've been able to do those 4 at a time in less time than it took us to do one of those on the Gigabot on the lab upstairs from us. So it makes the production way faster. We can do it. It's better quality print because this is a much newer printer than the Gigabot. And it allows us to get those done way faster so we can get the other projects out, because this is going to be probably our main printer for the 20mm guns when we start to produce those, because this can do large sections of those, and then we just have to glue those together and then we can put those outside. And the other function this room has is we're also using it as our resin lab, which I was touching on upstairs, so we'll cut over to the resin printers and then we'll start explaining those. So the other function this room has is our resin printing, which we're starting to expand on. We have a couple of printers from the last time we did this video. The Elegoo Mars we had those 2. We added a Saturn, but the biggest printer we added was this guy, the Mega 8K Sonic. It's a Frozon printer, and this allows us to do really large SLA parts. This is probably one of the largest resin printers they make right now that's not an industrial size printer. So this one lets us do parts like we showed you upstairs, the light globes in one shot. The other stuff these guys are mainly doing are the light lenses that we have down on Broadway, smaller resin parts that we need. It's mostly lenses, and then we're also doing rubber parts with these too now. When we were at Hinsa a couple years ago, we showcased a lot of those off. Sight mounts, eyes, rubber boots for switches, things that have degraded over time that are gone in almost all the ships. We're starting to reproduce and get those back out onto the ship everywhere we need them to be. And we'll expand these as we add more printers, but we want to keep these in a separate spot because these printers tend to be a little smelly, definitely messy, because you're dealing with liquid resin as opposed to filament. I mean, you literally have these guys here. That's your medium. I don't know if you want to show you in here. So basically you can see the vat of resin and the plate. So this works kind of opposite a normal 3D printer where you have filament coming in and making the part layer by layer. This makes the part on the plate here, and it literally pulls up. So if you watch it in time lapse, it looks like it's literally pulling the part out of liquid, and it's kind of a cool effect. And then when you're done, you take the plate off, and then your part's there. And because it's a messy process, you're not done once it prints. You have to bring it into a wash station. Usually you're soaking it in alcohol, or if it's water-soluble resin, water. So you have to wash the part off. Then you have to put it in a UV curing station, which is the big box beside it. And then the part sits in there usually 10 to 15 minutes to do a final cure on it. Then it's ready and done. But in all these processes, you're dealing with liquid resin that you shouldn't get on your hands, and again, it's all caustic, it smells. So this area we try to keep cordoned off because it does make quite a mess, as you can see all over the deck where there's spills and drops and things of hardened resin. And as we get more printers and add more stuff, that problem magnifies. So that's why we try to keep this away from everything else. The only reason we have the big printer in here is we had to build it in here. It's the only room it would fit in because it wouldn't go in the upstairs lab. So that's why we needed a second one. Alrighty, so that was a quick run through of where the print labs are now and the new print lab we have here that we added on to it. So you get an idea of the capability you have for manufacturing the parts on the ships. So if you see anything in these videos that you like, if you're into 3D printing, you want to actually get involved in some of this stuff. That's why we always take new volunteers, because it's not always chipping paint, working on the ships. We do other things around here that benefit the museums. 3D printing and the laser engraving is just a small example of that. So if you like the videos, we ask you to like, share, subscribe. If you want to come get involved, come down, fill out a volunteer form and volunteer. If you can't volunteer in person, but you still want to help out, we always take donations on the websites. And like usual, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.